Hi, and welcome to another edition of Onside SA, the soccer show that's got it all. And we always start off with the last one standing because it's very interesting. And we'd like to thank Track and Ball for their sponsorship of this one, and Davgo, and as well as Let's Go Travel for all their help with getting our prizes in place. But this one here, the interesting thing is quite a few entries again.
Yeah, over 300 this time, Paul. A lot of last-minute entries. So,
it's a wonderful prize. You know, you throw your 100 Rand in and you've got every chance of going all the way to the UK, which is fantastic. And they're all soccer fans, and it's wonderful. But again, every week, Budge, there's a stumbling block. And the first two we've had Chelsea buried people.
Yeah.
Do you remember they lost to Burnley, the opening game? Well, this is interesting because Liverpool dropped the boys going to Swansea.
You know, Liverpool of today remind me United of the 80s. United would always beat Liverpool, or the team top of the league. The following week, you could put your life on it, they were going to stuff it up. What happened? Liverpool did the same thing with Swansea.
They're calling Klopp Robin Hood.
Yeah, you know.
Take from the rich and give
our
to the
mate
poor.
Nigel Swinbank sent me a stat.
Yes.
The same number of games that Louis van Gaal had at Man United, exactly the same winning percentage.
As
Van Gaal and Jurgen Klopp, just over 50%. That's his winning record at Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp.
At all?
Yeah. And everybody loves him because of his mannerisms, and he's always smiling. But he's going to come under pressure.
When they play well, they're a good team.
Yeah, Paul, I don't know. You know, attacking-wise, they're great.
Yeah,
but 75 million on Van Dijk. Go and buy a world-class goalkeeper. United had to rectify. They went and bought Schmeichel. The rest is history. Liverpool don't do that. I don't care how good you are going forward. The great Brazilian teams, Zico and Socrates, didn't have a goalkeeper. They couldn't win. So I don't know how Liverpool are going to get it right.
You've got to have a goalie. Yeah?
Got to have a goalkeeper.
Got to have a goalie. But as I say, we started off with 310. It drops very quickly, and the bulk went through on Man City.
Yeah, just under 100. Well, it was the right call.
It was a game at one stage.
Yeah,
the game was on at one
2-0
stage.
and 2-1, but they could always see the class was going to come through.
Yeah, so let's just go through the stats from last week. These are the 316. There were 99 on Man City, 48 on Leicester, Liverpool 45, bye-bye. Arsenal 23 went through. Tottenham 22, they went missing.
Yeah, disappointing. Yeah.
Chelsea went through. Everton, how did they?
Everton drew. They drew with West Brom.
That's right. They went out. West Ham, they drew.
West Ham drew.
17 went there. Man United went through. Stoke City went through.
Yeah.
And then the other loser, Crystal Palace and
Bournemouth. Yeah.
Bournemouth. So 210 goes through at the second round. It obviously gets much tougher. And let's just talk about the League Cup at the moment.
Yeah.
But there have been two games. Unfortunately, they're not showing it to us.
Yeah, tragic. But
and ask me if I care. But right, I think we've got our international pundit Stevie B on the line. Stevie, you there? Stevie, can you hear us?
Yes, good morning.
Morning, Stevie. We're just getting to that stage because we're going to ask questions. We're talking about, did you stay in last one standing?
I did. I had City.
Man City, yeah.
Man City, you went with the sheep, eh? Well done. So
I know, absolutely. I thought I've got to get past the first round, if nothing else.
Yeah. I think Abood probably went missing because he would have been on Liverpool.
No, he was on Man City, Mark.
Was he on Man City?
He's already sent me his pick already. But
all right, we got to some games to speak to you about because there's some interesting championship fixtures we're going to talk to you about. But we didn't get, Budge and I were talking earlier, we didn't get the games of the two semi-final clashes, Bristol City and Man City, and then, of course, last night, Arsenal-Chelsea. Did you get to watch any of them?
Yes, well, the Man City game was interesting. I mean, Bristol City sort of put up a reasonably good show, but at 2-0 up on the night and 4-1 on aggregate, it looked like it was game over. And they definitely took their foot off the gas, City, and Bristol came back with 2 late goals. And I think they just realised then City needed to step into upper gear and scored a wonderful third goal to win. But I think they did themselves a lot of credit, Bristol, to go out only 5-3. I think the difficulty is for a team like Bristol to play Man City over 2 legs.
Yes.
I think it was going to be very difficult for them.
Arsenal, Chelsea?
Yeah, I mean Arsenal played very well. There wasn't a lot in it, but they played well. You just sort of think, why? How comes they haven't sort of raised their game in recent weeks in the league? As they did last night.
They blow hot and cold.
Should be a good final.
Yeah, be a good final, and it's 25th of February. Two very good sides, so that's always good. And we're going to touch on Premiership news. Now, whenever we talk to you, Steve, a manager goes. They budge him right.
Yeah, Marco Silva, sadly.
Yeah, well, I think that we said last week, we were talking about Pellegrino, and I sort of mentioned, Watford are in trouble. And, history should tell us with their owners that no one lasts more than a season at Watford, and Silva hasn't even done that. So I was a little surprised, but they haven't had a good run.
Yeah.
But they probably pulled the trigger a bit too quick. But
Do you think that story, Steve, about him having one eye on the Everton job and hoping to go was one of the stumbling blocks?
Well, that's what they said, but ultimately, I mean, the club turned round to Everton at that time and said, it will cost you £10 million if you want him, and they pulled out. Now, whether or not that distracted the manager, it's hard to tell. I mean, but that happened then. I mean, that wasn't the manager's fault. I mean, Everton made the approach, and the club put a price on his head.
So I think it's a fair
My brother
manager.
is a Watford season ticket holder and said they've not been playing badly.
Yeah.
Things the ball hasn't gone for them in recent weeks as it did earlier in the season.
Stevie, Alexis Sanchez has now got to United. Mkhitaryan went the other way.
I mean, it's in a way, when you look at, obviously United have done well to get him. They obviously wanted Henrik Mkhitaryan sort of out the squad, so they've done well. It hasn't cost them anything other than a fortune in wages over a 4-year period. So whether that's setting the bar now as to what other top players in the country aspire to want to be earning. So
yeah, Steve, the wage bill there must be astronomical.
Oh, absolutely, and it's so the next big player they sign is going to turn around and say, well, I want what he's got.
Yeah. For me, Steve, Mkhitaryan was on 150. There's just too many players on over 100. So if they clear out 4 or 5 of them to cope more, to cover his salary, I don't agree with the £500,000, whatever it is. But I'm sure there's bonuses and signing on fees. All that.
I think maybe the fact that they haven't effectively paid a transfer fee as such,
it's added in
their thinking, is that if they had to buy him on the open market, if he still had 3 or 4 years left, they'd be having to fork out $100 million for him. So, maybe that's their rationale for that.
Yeah.
Two other points before we talk about the championship, Steve. Edin
Dzeko from Roma. What's the latest with that?
Chelsea? I mean, it seems strange. I mean, Chelsea seems to have been linked with a lot of. Last week being linked with Peter Crouch, and you're thinking this doesn't make sense. I mean, these sort of players. I mean, Edin Dzeko was a good player here, but maybe he left City a bit too soon. Obviously, they brought in sort of other players, but he is a good player. But he's 31, and Chelsea had gone on record before as saying they wouldn't pay big transfer fees for anybody over 30. But they obviously feel that they're desperately lacking something up front.
Yeah. Does Conte have a say on which players he signs? I just couldn't believe that Barkley would be one of the players he would look for.
You just sort of get the impression that he doesn't necessarily.
Yeah.
He would know Edin Dzeko from his time in Italy, and they probably feel that he could do a job for them for a sort of 1.5 seasons, maybe.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem.
Bring in a big name.
Yeah, I think if ever my next bid, the next man, I just can't see him being at Chelsea next year because the players that they're looking at signing, they're not his type of players. Yeah.
No, they definitely seem like stopgap type players, and I think it's going to depend on how they finish. Whether they progress any further in the Champions League. We know they've got a tough game. And where they finish in the league, and you just got this feeling that sort of probably between them and United for second spot.
Yeah.
Stevie, the last point, Aubameyang to Arsenal via Dortmund.
Yeah, that's just, as of last night, I understand it sort of stalled a bit, but you'd think that if Arsenal want him, and there seems to be sort of a willingness on both sides, and it's just coming down to money, I think that's probably a good signing for them. They do need somebody else. I think that we've seen from when they've rotated their squad and some of the players they've brought in have just not looked really up for it. And they've lost a player of the quality in Sanchez. I think they need to go out, if nothing else, to appease their fans who are often disappointed.
All right, Steve, now the time for you to gloat on the show. Your beloved Fulham, 6-0 last week? First
6-0. At the end of the day, Burton didn't play very well, but they have made themselves hard to beat in recent weeks away. And you can only beat what's in front of you. But it was a very, very good performance. But the pressure's on because the expectations now at the club being 1 point off a playoff place, people are now going to expect us to push on. And it's never, as we know from looking at week in, week out, the Championship is a very hard division.
Yeah. Well, you should be expected to beat Barnsley, current form.
You would think so, but then Barnsley, evidently their chairman, who sold out recently, passed away in the last few days. There'll be a lot of emotion at the club. One never really knows. And we played them only a few weeks ago in the return in the fixture at Fulham, and we won. It wasn't convincing, but they weren't very strong, Barnsley. But they're at home. They held Wolves recently, so I think people would be disappointed, especially as a number of other teams are not playing this weekend because of the cup. So a win for us puts us up into a playoff place.
Talking to a team I was fairly impressed with the last time I saw them, Steve, was Norwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I mean, Norwich sort of had a good run, and then they had a sort of a wobble. I think they had a very disappointing result at the weekend, and that's just sort of pushed them back a bit.
Yeah, I can see it. So it's basically
they're in that sort of chasing group.
Yes, yes. All right, so that's interesting. And the two more games I want to ask you about, Stevie, and that is 5th place Bristol City against 16th place QPR.
Well, I mean, on paper, you would think that Bristol would win that, but as we know, they've had a lot of games recently and lost a number of games, obviously, because they've got a full fixture list. They may be a little bit tired after that, but and QPR, are not very strong away from home. But I suspect City probably just edge that, or it might be a draw. But I don't think it's. If they were playing them and they hadn't had the distraction of the cup, I think City would have won that comfortably. Yeah,
obviously put too much emotion into the semi-final, and obviously
they put everything into it, and one doesn't know, whether that's taken a bit of a toll on them. But this is a big game for them because they'd had a wobble, they'd lost 3 in a row, came back and got a point the other day, and they are. Only a few points clear of the teams in sort of 7th and 8th place, so it's a big game for them.
And finally, Wolves back on the. They got stuck out of the cup by Swansea. You think this is a game to rebound?
Yes, I mean I think a very surprising result last weekend, losing at home to Nottingham Forest.
Yes.
I don't think anybody saw that coming. Obviously, Wolves had been unbeaten in the league for a little while. Forest had a very poor run in the league, but it just shows that a new manager, and Aita Karanka knows the Championship well. He's sort of the noises are coming out of Forest is that he seems to be I think it was a good appointment, and the fans seem to be quite popular with it, and that was a terrific win for them. Okay. So, but I think Wolves should bounce back. I'd be very surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, Stevie, they're 6-10 now. Before we close up with you, Steve, next manager to go in the Premier League, you're quite good with these.
Well, I mean, there aren't that many. If you look at it, because we've had 8 have gone now, you exclude the sort of the top 6 or 7 if you include Burnley, and maybe the promoted clubs, although I think they're now getting sucked in. I think still favourites, if they don't start winning soon, is going to be Peregrino at Southampton. But there aren't that many unless you do bring into the equation the promoted clubs.
Yeah.
And if you look at the league table now and the results, Huddersfield, Brighton and Newcastle have all been sucked into a real relegation fight.
Rafa Benitez?
I can't believe that Rafa would go unless it's of his own volition this season, because he might be frustrated with what's happening. Seems that Newcastle are trying to get 1 or 2 off the wage bill, bring 1 or 2 in, but they haven't been successful yet. But I think that the impression one gets is that they are going to try and strengthen that squad before the transfer deadline shuts next Wednesday.
Okay. All right, Stevie, wonderful talking to you. We'll speak to you again next week, and thanks very much for your input. There we go, Stevie B, our international pundit, giving us a good update on the Championship, especially because his team, Fulham, that he's supported for 50 years.
Going well.
Are going well. They were going well last year till the playoffs.
Yeah.
Let's talk local football, midweek results, and Supersport, Polokwane, 1 each.
But I only watched the last half an hour. Supersport 1-0 up. Last kick of the game. Long ball from the keeper, flicked on. Guy hit it, deflected, over the goal, 1-1. They couldn't talk after the game. I felt for Tinkler because they should have won easily. 1-1. Poor result.
And then Amazulu.
Yeah, I watched it, Paul. Terrible.
Celtic.
Yeah, Amazulu with a better team,
Yeah.
but they could still be playing. They wouldn't have scored.
They need points. They've got a few
hanging
games.
in,
Just
but,
talking about the standings, and we've been saying for some time now that it's going to be hard to beat Sundowns.
Yep.
Sundowns 34 points, Cape Town City 30, Kaiser Chiefs, they're still hanging in, 29, Free State Stars 28, Maritzburg 27, and Orlando Pirates 27. There's still a lot to play for.
Yeah, big game this week, Paul. Chiefs Sundowns.
Oh, that'll be a great one. And then bottom of the log, which is always interesting, 13th Amazulu, 19 points, 14th Bidfest Wits, 18. He's two off the bottom now.
Yeah, no, they'll get out
They'll
of it.
get out of it. Ajax Cape Town,
Yeah, in trouble, but
16
the home
points.
forms is the key.
and then Platinum Stars 15. They
Yeah.
shouldn't go out the league.
Well, Paul, they can't score at home. They scored 1 goal, I think 9 home games this year.
That's not good enough.
Not good enough.
Not good enough. Right, FA Cup 4th round. Now, some of these are shoo-ins.
Oh, they look at Paul.
They look at that. Budge, we're going to put the list up here, and you can run through it for us. Budge, what do you think? Yeah, let's have a
Well, the
look.
first 2 games are Friday night. Now, the new manager took over at Sheffield Wednesday. They hadn't conceded a goal. Jaap Stam's team are struggling. They've drawn the last 3 away games. Anything's possible here, but you've got to think the new manager, Sheffield Wednesday. While I wouldn't be taking 12-10, I've got to fancy them to go through. The next game, hopefully, is on.
Yeah.
United at Yeovil.
What do you mean, hopefully it's on?
Well, you never know. There was rumour that it wasn't going to be on, but...
For whatever reason.
Well, you never know, you know.
Well, I don't.
I
That's
hope
what I'm
not,
asking
yeah.
you. I
But
don't
we'll see.
know.
You never know with...
But 1-7.
No, you
It's
can't
a good
take
bet.
that.
It's
No,
a
it
great
looks a
bet.
great-
70 grand on
Yeah.
to win
It'll be a
10.
long,
How can
90
Yeovil
minutes.
Town beat them? Okay,
They shouldn't.
Peterborough, the posh.
Well,
against Leicester.
likewise, yeah, we went for Leicester last time. He made 8 changes. What's he
Yeah.
going to do? Yeah,
9.
they play Everton in midweek, and that's the trick with the FA Cup. There's a lot of teams
Yes.
under severe pressure.
Yes.
Big midweek games. Are they going to rest them? It should be Leicester all the way, but don't be surprised if it's a draw.
Okay, and then Huddersfield, they got to fight hard.
Well,
Birmingham,
you know,
struggling.
Huddersfield have got Liverpool at home on Tuesday. Which way are they going to go? You
Yeah.
know, Birmingham, nothing to lose. They played well at Preston last week, my guys tell me. Yeah, I can sense an upset there, Paul, purely because Huddersfield's eyes got to be on midweek against Liverpool.
Okay, the next 4.
Hull City, Notts Forest. I fancy Forest, as Stevie said. Yeah, they beat Arsenal in the last round.
Yeah.
So you got to fancy them. Hull
Yeah,
City,
they look good. They look good against Arsenal.
You know, Hull City just can't win a game, you know. So I fancy Forest are the 2 teams. My upset of the round is Middlesbrough beat Brighton. Likewise, Brighton, big game in midweek. What's he going to do, Chris Hughton?
He's got to
He's got to
rotate.
try. He's got to rotate the players. Middlesbrough going well under Tony Pulis, so I think that's the
Millwall,
upset.
Rochdale.
Well, Millwall, the banker of the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, for 5-10 isn't a great price. Millwall have always been hard to beat at home. You know, a couple of years ago they beat Bournemouth. They beat a couple of Premiership teams. I think they'll be too good for Rochdale, who's second bottom in League One. MK Dons Coventry. Now Coventry knocked out Stoke City. That's why Mark Hughes got fired.
That's
And
true.
ironically, the guy who's in charge of them saved Fergie's job at Old Trafford, Mark Robbins.
That's
Remember the
right.
FA Cup
Remember
run?
that- I
Yeah.
remember the goal. I can still
Yeah.
remember it like yesterday.
You know, Swansea likewise, how much left have they got in? I thought they played really well against Liverpool. They got lucky at times.
Yeah,
He's
they
not gonna
defended well.
Defended well. He's going to rotate his players. He has to. You know, they got Arsenal in midweek, so you'd expect him to play a weekend team.
Should they beat Notts County?
They should be. They're second in League
Are they 2
Two.
leagues down? Eh?
And they're in League 2, so 3 leagues down. So you'd
3 leagues
expect
down.
them, but you never know in the FA Cup. My boys can't win at home. Away from home, we're unbeaten in 7. We just can't win at home. It's killing us. Sheffield United have only won one of the last 6 at home. They started off well. They're battling as well. So draw a big player in that game.
Now, who's in charge of Watford now?
They signed a guy,
Lambert, no?
Gracia. He was in charge of, I think it was Dynamo Kiev. He was in charge of a couple of those teams, foreign team. Apparently he comes with a high rating. We'll see.
Because, you know, they're the team that could beat Southampton.
Yeah, I just think Southampton, they played well against Spurs, I thought.
Yeah, no,
I know
they were,
Spurs
but-
didn't play too well, but I
Yeah.
thought Southampton fought hard.
It was
They
a
played.
wet, soggy balls like a medicine ball.
Yeah, they were up for it, Southampton.
Yeah,
I was
that's
impressed
right.
with them. And they
Yeah.
should have beat Watford the last time. Remember
Yeah.
the handball?
Yes.
I like Southampton of the 2 teams. Watford,
Okay.
you never know what you're going to get.
They got talent going forward. Okay, Troy
Defensively, they're
Deeney.
dodgy. Yeah.
What about Wigan?
Well, what team are West Ham going to play? You know, in the last round, they played Chesterfield on the Sunday. They should have got beat if it wasn't for
Yes.
Joe Hart. Wigan knocked Bournemouth out in the last round.
Good game.
They've got that guy, Will Gregg. You know, Will Gregg's on fire, the centre forward. They've got a few good players on loan, so don't be surprised if there's an upset there.
That's Saturday at 5. And then
Well, you know, it should be Tottenham.
Not
Take
Newport County. Yeah.
Not Newport County. They're
Great
8th in
banker.
League 2.
Banker Liverpool.
Should be. You expect a response from last week. The
Yeah,
fans
and
would be
at
going
home.
berserk.
Yeah, and
going
at
at home. West Brom have only won 1 in 20, but
You know, they played well the other day. They played a top
they
side.
played at
West Ham.
Everton. He's got them organised out of Pardew.
they're quite organised. But I can't see them beating Liverpool.
And likewise, they've got a big game in
Who
midweek.
who do Liverpool have to play during the week? Are they going to rotate?
No, I don't think so.
Don't think so.
West Brom are at Man City, so you'd expect them to have a full go here. They're not going to get anything out of Man City. But you've got to fancy
Chelsea,
Liverpool.
Newcastle.
Well, it's Newcastle. What is he going to do? Rafa Benitez. Is he going to have? He's got to stay in the league, hanging on for dear life in the league.
Yeah.
You'd expect Chelsea to have too much, but the guys are falling quickly there. William was out. Is he going to play Hazard? I don't think the balance are good enough, but they should be too good for Newcastle at home.
Cardiff City.
Well, likewise,
they were a good side.
Yeah, they're third in the league. They're a dangerous team. They're direct. Man City, he has to play all the youngsters.
They're very good youngsters.
So, you'd expect Man City to go through there.
Yeah. All right, that's that, Budge. So we got that cup football there. Then the PSL. Let's go.
We've got a couple of bets with the PSL this week. Fortunately, the betting came out nice and early. So we can include them. Maritzburg at home. Maritzburg should be in second place. Their last home game, they got beat by Supersport 1-0. If they'd won that, they'd have been in second place.
Sure.
You'd expect them to be too strong for Chipper at home. Ajax got to get a result here, but Free State Stars are going well. They're third in the league. If Ajax don't get a result here, the gap's going to increase. So win and draw for me, Free State Stars. Polokwane, they were terrible the other night. They were desperate, but lucky to get a point. I don't like what I see from Amazulu. They draw a big player there. They've drawn 7 of their last 9 league games.
Wow.
That's not going to get them out of the relegation battle. But Polokwane, hit and miss team, you never know. But Polokwane in a draw for me.
Won't Platinum Stars be going hard here? They have to.
They've only scored 1 goal. I think it's 8 home league games. Can't score. I worry about Roger. If they don't get it, they're playing well. But Orlando Pirates are one of those teams that always give you a chance.
Yeah.
They're good to watch Pirates. They go forward, bit dodgy at the back, but you've got to think 9 to 10 Pirates is a good bet.
Okay, and then on we go.
Well, Supersport Wits.
Game.
Yeah, I like Wits. I watch Supersport.
Yeah.
They're starting to feel sorry for themselves. Brocky's gone to Sundowns, their Kiwi assassin.
Yeah.
So they just didn't look
He
like
go to
they had
Sundowns,
much. Went to Sundowns, yeah. So I think Wits can get another good result there, Paul.
Chiefs Sundown, great game.
I watched
Great
Sundowns
game.
the other night. Jeez, Paul, they've got some players there.
Quality.
I think Sundowns, I can't believe they've got the betting.
Percy Tau there.
Percy Tau, they've got Billy at, Brocky's there. No, I think Sundowns will be too good for Chiefs.
Good game.
17 to 10, yeah.
Where would that be played?
That's at FNB.
FNB. And Bloem Celtic.
Bloem Stadium away from home are poor, but at home in Bloemfontein, they'll be hard to beat. Benny's team going well, but the only game they've lost in the last 8 was at Free State Stars in Bethlehem. So maybe the Free State curse has got them, but I think a draw a big player there.
And then Arrows?
I like Arrows to beat Baraka. Baraka have lost their last 3 away from home. At home they're competitive, away from home a bit dodgy. And Arrows slowly creeping into the relegation battle. I think they get a result, Arrows.
All right, let's go look at our official pools and the Soccer 6.
Yeah, I've gone Pirates win and draw at Platinum Stars, looking for Roger to finally get a point or two, or get a point at least. I think Polokwane won't get beat by Amazulu. I've gone win and draw Polokwane. I don't trust Real Madrid. They got beat at home in the Copa del Rey by Leganes. I know he rested a lot of players. They're at Valencia. I watched them last night. They won on a penalty shootout. But I don't see Real Madrid with Bale and Ronaldo and them all losing at Valencia, even though they've got a bad record there. I've thrown the draw, and while I like Sundowns, I've gone Sundowns in the draw. I've gone Bidvest Wits in the draw at Supersport. I think Villarreal will be too good for Real Sociedad, 192.
Okay, your next one.
Yeah, the next one's the FA Cup one. I've thrown the draw in with Leicester. I don't trust what Claude Puel's going to do. So I've gone win and draw Leicester. I've gone the field, Notts County, Swansea, looking for the upset. I've gone Southampton win and draw at Watford, even though I like Southampton. I've gone the field with Wigan against West Brom. I think Tottenham and Liverpool look obvious bankers to me this weekend, 2-1-6.
Okay, the 10.
The 10, I've gone Leicester, win and draw at Peterborough. I've gone the field, Huddersfield, Birmingham City, looking for the upset. I don't see Nottingham Forest losing at Hull. I've banked Middlesbrough to beat Brighton. I've gone win and draw Preston at Sheffield United. I've gone Swansea, win and draw at Notts County. I've banked Southampton to beat Watford. I've gone the field with Wigan and West Ham, and I've banked Tottenham and Liverpool, 288. If you want a Harvard, you can bank a Leicester, but I've thrown the draw and looking for a bit of a smash.
Okay, the 13.
Yeah, the 13, I've banked Liverpool to beat West Ham. I've gone for the upset. It's to beat West Brom. It's a 1-2-3 Huddersfield, Birmingham, but I'm taking the chance that Huddersfield have got their mind on Premiership survival. So I've gone Birmingham win and draw at Huddersfield. Likewise, Forest. I don't see them losing at Hull City. I've banked Middlesbrough to beat Brighton, Millwall to beat Rochdale. I've gone Preston win and draw at Sheffield United. I've banked Southampton to beat Watford because I needed to find the other banker. I've gone Wigan win and draw against West Ham. I've gone Coventry win and draw at MK Dons. I've gone Swansea win and draw at Notts County. Norwich win and draw at Brentford, even though that's a 1-2-3 game. Likewise, I think it's a 1-2-3 game, Bristol City and QPR, but we've had to side with one team, so we've gone with Bristol City win and draw, and I've banked Wolves, 409. If you want to halve it, take a chance and bank Leicester or Swansea, but we spend 400. It's tough. Yeah.
It is tough. Okay, let's look at the best part of the show. Your bets now, Budge.
Well, I've gone Millwall to beat Rochdale. I've gone Middlesbrough to beat Brighton, and we've been banging on Tottenham to win the FA Cup. So the first leg, Stevie B's Fulham stuck us out in the one. So we've gone Tottenham, 4,500 at 200.
Okay.
The PSL treble, I think Golden Arrows will beat Barocca. I don't see Bidvest losing at Supersport. Now I've gone Sundowns to beat Chiefs and over 2.5 total goals.
Okay, got
so,
you.
Right. Worked at 18-1. That bet was 9-2. I thought it was a nice bet. So it's 3,600 at 200. The win and draw fiver. I've gone Birmingham win and draw at Huddersfield. I've gone Coventry win or draw at MK Dons.
2 away sides, eh?
Yeah, Notts Forest at Hull City.
Another away
three.
side. Yeah.
Norwich at Brentford, and I've gone Preston at Sheffield
All
United.
away sides.
All away sides. Yeah, it's amazing. You go for the away sides, the odds double. You go for the home team, they're 1-4, 1-5. Crazy.
Yeah.
The both teams to score quartet. I've gone MK Dons, Coventry, Sheffield United, Preston, Wigan, West Ham, and Cardiff, Man City.
Again, you've thrown West Ham into the team.
Yeah, I just think it.
Jeez,
Wigan at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've got to think West Ham will score.
And you think Cardiff will get a goal?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the Spanish
the Spanish quartet. Yeah, I've gone Villarreal to beat Real Sociedad, Celta Vigo to beat Real Betis, and both teams to score in the Leganes Espanyol and Sevilla Girona team, 3,000 at 200.
The Collis King?
Yeah, I've gone Stevie B's Fulham to beat Barnsley. I've gone Millwall to beat Rochdale. I've gone Tottenham to win at Newport. I've gone Sundowns to beat Chiefs. Juventus to beat Chievo Verona, and Celta Vigo to beat Real Betis. 4,600 to 200. I threw Sundowns and they were 17.5 to 10 to obviously bump it up.
Yeah.
So I fancy Sundowns. I'm impressed with them.
Yeah, me too. So, all right, bear in mind, last one standing. You're all staying this week because of the FA Cup. We'll be back. There are midweek games. They do not apply. Some very interesting midweek games.
Tottenham United.
Yeah, they'll be at Wembley.
Game at Wembley, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a great game. All right, well, that's a lot for now. Make sure you stay on side.